Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are digging into something I find absolutely fascinating, a classic business case study on a brand called Chacha. They started way back in 1972 as this tiny, humble kiosk in New Delhi. And today? Well, today, this historic Indian restaurant brand is staring down a massive, high-stakes scaling challenge. Basically, how do you take a beloved local food legend and expand it into a modern national empire without destroying the very soul that made people fall in love with it in the first place? It's the ultimate growth dilemma. And honestly, their strategic playbook to solve it is pretty brilliant.
There's a line straight from the brand's official materials that hits the nail on the head when it comes to this tension. It reads, "From Delhi's favorites to India's favorites." And scaling a local legend nationally is notoriously difficult. Think about it. If you expand too fast, you completely lose quality control. But if you modernize too much, you lose your historic charm. And that is exactly the tightrope Chacha is walking right now as they evolve into a massive, multi-outlet chain.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is exactly how we're going to break this down today. 1. The iconic Delhi roll. 2. Marketing 50 years of heritage. 3. The modern scale-up playbook. 4. The risks of expansion. And finally, number 5, building Chacha 3.0.
All right, Section 1, the iconic Delhi roll. We're taking a look at their hero product strategy.
Listen, every great empire has to start with a rock-solid foundation, right? You just don't build a 50-year legacy by being kinda okay at everything. For Chacha, that foundation is their signature Mughlai roll. It acts as this ultimate hero product funnel. It all kicks off with step 1, that signature roll. That iconic item drives step 2, which is massive brand recognition, and that pulls the customer right into step 3, the actual restaurant visit. Now, here is where the business really makes its money. Step 4, cross-selling. Because once you're in the door craving that famous roll, you start exploring the wider menu, the biryanis, the curries, the whole shebang. And that leads perfectly into step 5, repeat purchase. Essentially, the roll is the magnet, but the broader menu, that's the revenue engine. Moving on to Section 2, Marketing 50 Years of Heritage. This is all about selling history, not just fast food. Here's the thing about the restaurant industry. A competitor with deep pockets, they can totally copy your layout. They can even copy your recipes. But they absolutely cannot copy a legacy that goes all the way back to 1972. And Chacha brilliantly uses this history to position themselves. Look at the two extremes. On one side, you've got local street vendors. Super authentic, but, sometimes they lack reliable hygiene or a comfortable place to sit. On the other side, you have luxury restaurants, incredibly comfortable, sure, but often really expensive, and they kind of lack that gritty, authentic street food soul. Chacha, they sit right in that highly profitable middle ground. They're giving you that street food authenticity, but with the organization, hygiene, and comfort of premium casual dining. And that brings us to a really crucial piece of their whole marketing engine. Their message is literally, "We are part of Delhi's food heritage." They aren't just selling you a quick service kebab. No way. They are selling an emotional connection, a piece of authentic local culture. By totally owning the territory of Delhi's iconic roll culture, they've built this massive defensive moat around their business. It makes it incredibly hard for some shiny new fast food chain to come in and compete on a purely emotional level. So let's get into Section 3, the modern scale-up playbook. We're talking omni-channel expansion. Now, heritage is awesome, but to actually scale nationally, you need cutting-edge operations. And watching their evolutionary arc is quite a journey. They started as Chacha 1.0, literally just a simple kiosk and con market back in 1972. Fast forward to the 2010s, and we hit version 2.0. This was a massive multi-outlet expansion across premium markets, malls, and corporate districts in Delhi NCR and Punjab. Now in the 2020s, they're going fully tech-enabled. They are investing heavily in cloud kitchens and centralized order management to totally conquer the delivery market. And looking ahead to 2026, they are gearing up for the highly anticipated Chacha Canteen launch. And they're pulling this off through a really smart, multi-format portfolio strategy. It's honestly a masterclass in capturing different consumer occasions. They're enforcing one single store layout to do everything. A food court outlet that's designed for a quick meal on the go. A cloud kitchen is optimized purely for fast, frictionless delivery. Their standard restaurants are built for family and social dining, and that upcoming canteen format will target a much more premium casual experience. They're tailoring the physical space to exactly what the customer needs in that specific moment.
But physical expansion is only half the battle. Their promotion strategy has modernized in a huge way, too. They've shifted away from just relying on traditional brand awareness and word of mouth. Now, they're bringing in performance marketing specialists to run aggressive Meta and Google campaigns. They're obsessing over hard metrics like return on ad spend and customer acquisition cost. Even cooler is their 3-level influencer strategy. They use macro food bloggers to get that broad credibility, but then they activate micro-influencers to drive hyper-local engagement. I mean, literally sending local creators to specific outlets just to prove that the Chacha roll is still the absolute local favorite. Okay, time for Section 4, the risks of expansion. Let's face the SWOT realities. Now, what's really interesting here is that business growth is never just a straight line up. It always comes with some serious friction. But first, let's acknowledge the massive upside. With over 50 years of heritage and a highly recognizable brand name, they have a massive head start across India. Plus, their deep expertise in Mughlai food allows them to expand not just geographically, but into totally new revenue streams. We're talking corporate catering, ready-to-eat packaged foods, and loyalty programs. The brand equity here is incredibly strong.
But you gotta contrast that immediately with their vulnerabilities, the stuff that literally keeps executives awake at night. For one, they have a heavy dependence on Delhi and NCR recognition. Will a customer in Mumbai or Bangalore feel that same sense of nostalgia? Maybe not. There's also the constant threat of fierce local competitors and huge QSR chains, alongside the very real risk of menu dilution. But honestly, the ultimate bottleneck for any expanding food brand is maintaining consistency. Making sure a chicken Sikh roll tastes exactly the same in a 2024 cloud kitchen in Mohali as it did in a 1972 kiosk in Delhi, that is an operational nightmare.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Building Chacha 3.0, the tech-enabled future. So how does a brand actually address those vulnerabilities while still scaling aggressively? Well, it starts with looking at one very critical number. 60. That is the number of products currently listed in their online catalog. Now, expanding your menu is great for increasing average order value, sure, but having 60 items creates a serious risk of diluting their identity. If they try to be everything to everyone, they just become another generic Indian QSR. To survive and thrive, they have to fiercely protect the role as their undisputed hero product. So what are the actionable business insights to pull this off? First up, they need to unapologetically own the deli roll category in the consumer's mind. Don't let anyone else claim it. Second, they've got to turn that heritage into a long-term storytelling campaign. Shift from just printing since 1972 on a napkin to actively telling the story of from one gully to India. Third, they really should launch the Chacha Club loyalty program. Move from purely transactional marketing into true relationship marketing by rewarding those repeat purchases. And finally, boost that delivery revenue by creating occasion-based combos. Think a late-night roll combo or a weekend feast. It makes a massive menu so much easier to navigate and drives up the order value at the same time.
And a huge piece of this future strategy relies on the Chacha Canteen. Slated for 2026, this premium casual format is absolutely vital. Why? Because it acts as an innovation lab. It gives the brand a safe, upscale space to experiment. They can try out contemporary presentations, crazy new beverages, totally new regional flavors. If a new dish works here, great, integrate it into the wider chain. But if it fails, it doesn't damage the 1972 street food credibility of the core brand. It's just a brilliant way to innovate without risking the legacy. And zooming out for a second to look at the broader picture, they have this massive opportunity in food tourism with one simple, powerful proposition. Eat deli. Start with Chacha. By partnering up with hotels, travel creators, and hospitality businesses, they can totally convert their rich local history into a powerful, must-do tourism experience for anyone traveling to the capital. So we've covered the heritage, the clever omnichannel formats, the shift to digital marketing, and the really exciting roadmap for Chacha 3.0. But all of this leaves us with one overarching, incredibly thought-provoking question. Can Chacha actually scale across India without losing the 1972 Delhi soul that made it famous to begin with? I mean, it is the ultimate growth dilemma. They definitely have the strategy, the brand equity, and the tech-enabled operations to pull it off, but executing it flawlessly across hundreds of locations, that's the real test. Watch this space, guys, because this is one business case study you absolutely won't want to miss. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.